planting of false evidences, drugs or weapons. It's common. Political prisoners, it's a new phenomenon in Georgia. Just a few weeks ago, International Federation of Human Rights has identified several political prisoners in Georgia. And according to the human rights NGOs, there are 60 to 65 political prisoners in Georgia. Some members of opposition political parties or youth groups, and even some members of political activists and political opposition. So war propaganda, militarization, and false media reporting, serious problems which contribute to the damage done to the inter-ethnic relations. I have just one example. When this Adolf Hitler is quoted at the end of this reservist recruitment spot. The spot was broadcasted several times by the Georgian Defense Ministry's TV Sakartvelo in 2008. We finally have to understand that regaining the territories back is possible not by prayers, which have turned into formalities, or by reliance on the League of Nations, but only by war fights. Adolf Hitler, 1932. Freedom of expression, so problems with media, journalists. Georgia we have serious setbacks in this field. Several TV stations were closed. More than 25 TV programs were closed due to direct or indirect pressure from the government. Tens of cases of beating and persecution of journalists have been documented. Even I remember one case when one journalist in Western Georgia was beaten during the live show, and President Saakashvili next day promoted this person, this local governor. You can imagine a situation what during the live show, this journalist is beaten, and President supports this local governor. He encouraged this person. Situation with freedom of demonstration in 2007, police used excessive force to disperse the demonstrations, and some protesters were detained. Its problems exist in the field of civil society, in general in the opposition, and it was some cases of intimidation, some phone calls to the leaders of civil society, NGOs and representatives, and several raids from the police, and especially in the regions of Georgia where the human rights situation is quite different. Some of our members were beaten, including beaten by the representatives of local governor, local administration. Problems with refugees, especially Chechen refugees. They don't feel safe in Georgia and suffer from negative stereotypes. And it was documented several cases of disappearances and extradition to Russia, and the general situation conditions of Chechen refugees. So it's very serious problems remains. And problems with IDPs from Abkhazia and South Ossetia still exist. And socio-economic problems connected with the poverty, when this population, half of the Georgian population lives at the edge of poverty, and around 10 to 15 in extreme poverty. So I start with the situation in South Ossetia. It's Reykjavik region of Georgia, separated from Georgia after the war in 1991-1992. Population is approximately 70,000 people. So main problems in South Ossetia, I think first of all it's media situation. You can't find any independent, more or less independent media outlets. If something happens, journalists are pressed by the government. In this slide you can see ethnic population prior to 2008. You can see Georgian villages is red, and Ossetian villages with blue. And now we have to compare with the present situation. Only in Leningori district, in Nakhalgori district, there are some Georgian villages. Most of villages are destroyed. You can see this territory, in white you can see this territory controlled by Ossetians before the war, and now the whole territory of the South Ossetia is controlled by Ossetians and Russians. Right to return. Most of the people displaced by the August 2008 conflict have been able to return to their homes in South Ossetia, and most of those who fled to the Russian Federation have been able to return. However, most ethnic Georgians who have fled South Ossetia have not been in a position to return. Approximately 35,000 Georgians are not able to return. Right of displaced persons to care and support. Serious problems, especially for IDPs living in the conflict zone, and displaced persons and returnees should be informed and consulted when solutions are being devised. The right to be protected against dangers from remnant of war, demining in the conflict-affected areas, which is still in ongoing process, should be continued. Right to protection against lawlessness. Despite improvements, the security situation in the conflict-affected areas has not stabilized. There is a need for layered security arrangement in the relevant areas, as well as confidence-building measures between the sides to restore a sense of security amongst the population. The EU monitoring mission continue work only on territories controlled by Georgians, not inside South Ossetia or Abkhazia. Protection and exchange of detainees and prevention of hostage-taking. There remains a strong need to pursue the dialogue between the sides concerning the exchange of persons detained and to put an end to the practice of hostage-taking. So several cases of missing people have been clarified, but it's needed also to work on this area. International assistance and presence. The Georgian parliament has adopted a law on occupied territories. And this law has raised concerns within the international community with regard to humanitarian access to the conflict-affected areas. Both sides are placing obstacles on such access, and political concerns relating to the status of the regions must not be used as a justification to deny the existence to those who are in need.